All right, hello everybody. This is Jason from Hillside Home. I just got done shooting a video for a word from the hillside. It's just an introduction to the Gospel of John. I encourage you to check that out. That channel's called A Word from the Hillside. But hey, I thought I would just give you an update. I've been here for about a year on the hillside. Well, I got here just before Christmas last year, 2021. It's crazy. Last year, we're in a new year. It's very exciting. So I've been here for about a year. And, and honestly, sometimes I get so discouraged because I'm not where I wish I was already. You see in the background, the studs are still bare. It's winter. I don't have this place insulated yet. I know you hear, I think that's Tucker back there barking. Yeah, it's not insulated, so it's not soundproof at all either. Still working on the bathhouse. I barely have a fence to keep the goats in. I was just so excited about getting goats. I didn't do a proper fence, probably the way I should have. But you know what? They're in there. I only got 2 of them. They're happy. They're safe. We let them free range a lot of times. We let them out, and they'll come up on the porch with us. They're wonderful. Got a couple of pigs. But I'll look around to where I first was when I first drove up to the hillside. That first night, it was in December, and it was so warm, a lot like what we're experiencing this winter. They call that an Indian summer, I guess. I don't really get that. Hopefully it's not offensive to you. But point being, it's warm, and that first night I drove up here, I actually took a bath, what I call a hillside bath, just pouring a jug of water over my head and get cleaned up, scrub my body and all that outside. That's how warm it was. There was no cabin here. The only thing that was here was that partially built foundation with that little piece of building that's still up, and the garage. That was it. There was no cabin. There was piles of garbage right there where the burn pile is now, over by the garage, kind of in the area where the boats sit, and up against the garage on all sides there was junk stored. There was stuff out in the woods on the wood line that I had to pull out and throw away. I mean, I had made so many trips to the dump just to get everything cleaned up. Cleared out a lot of trees and stuff. You come up the driveway, you would see how different that is. How a little bit of behind the garage is cleaned up and how it's cleaned up behind the cabin. But man, I've come such a long way. When I think back that, I'm not as discouraged anymore, and it's been a wonderful year. There's that Facebook meme that keeps going on. You keep seeing around is like, I want to build a life I don't need a vacation from. And I think I've already done that here. Because most of the time when I'm not working, I just want to stay here on the hillside. Unless I'm going hunting or fishing. And even then, it's hard for me to want to leave. So I feel like I've had that here. I love going out there and chopping wood, building on the cabin, building the bathhouse, going out there fooling with the animals. Love it. Absolutely love it. I want to say probably the real struggle and the real achievement is where I've come emotionally, I would say. I've shared with you before, if you've been watching, that I went through a divorce back when I was in the Navy, and pretty much had lost my kids. Not only lost my wife, lost my kids, because they came back to Tennessee. I had to stay in San Diego for a little bit, but I would end up going overseas to Diego Garcia. But while I was in San Diego, see, the rent's so expensive there. And if you're watching this from California, or if you ever moved to California and find yourself going into a divorce, and I encourage you not to get divorced. Try to stick it out if you can. I know some situations you just can't. But just know, if you get divorced in California and you end up the one paying child support, it is expensive. The apartments there are expensive. It's so expensive that I couldn't pay the amount of child support that I had to pay, and the spousal support that I had to pay, and still pay for a apartment. And you say, well, you're in the Navy, right? And you live in the barracks. Well, if I lived in the barracks, I would have lost my housing pay, which was very significant, and I wouldn't be able to pay child support. And as overcharged as I believe I was, the child support still needed. Because I need my ex to be able to take care of the kids, especially while I was gone. So that was something that was needed. But I said all that to say this, is I ended up homeless for a little bit. I would either sleep in my Jeep or in the tent on the beach. it was illegal to sleep in your car and even sleep on the beach in a lot of places, but there was one spot there that the authorities just kind of seemed to turn their back to allow us to be there. So I did that. And a lot of people, you might feel bad for me, but during that time I was happy. At least I thought I was happy. I wasn't really living for God, to be quite honest. I'd already preached before and things like that, pastored a church, but I just wasn't doing good through that divorce, made a lot of bad decisions, was not living a godly lifestyle. To the point where I was not only partaking in sin, but pretty much swimming in sin, if you will. But anyway, I was happy because I didn't have any bills to pay, except for my Jeep. I still paid that, and I would later get that paid off while I was in Diego Garcia, but I didn't have a whole lot of responsibilities. I would just go to work in the morning. I had a shower there and a locker room there. So I would just work and get cleaned up afterwards. I would, when I get cleaned up, I would go work out at the gym, or rock climbing gym that I went to. And then after that, I'd get cleaned up and go across the interstate to this dance hall, country western dance hall. And it was a lot of fun because they had free dance lessons there, and they also had really good food, turkey burgers, sweet potato fries. I drank a lot of water. I was drinking alcohol at the time, but it wasn't non-stop. I might have drunk there twice a week. Couldn't really afford to drink too much. That's a good thing, but I don't drink anymore. I've given that up. So after I get done dancing, I would go sleep in the Jeep, wear my tent, and get back up and repeat that whole thing the next morning. So, and I wasn't going to church at the time. I started to towards the end of my stay in San Diego before I would go to Diego Garcia. But that was kind of where I came from. So I went to Diego Garcia, and that was a blessing for me because everybody had to live in the barracks, and I still got a housing allowance because my kid's still living in the States. So that was very, very helpful. I ended up staying there till the end of my career. I only came back to San Diego again to retire, go through that process, only a few weeks. And again, required to stay in the barracks, so I wasn't losing out any money. I lost out a little bit because I got paid more for being overseas, but that was okay. So I retire, come back here. By the time I had left Diego Garcia, which is a small island in the Indian Ocean, by the way, I'd already bought the Hillside. I'm still making payments on it, but I worked so hard there while I was in Diego Garcia, I was able to make payments on this. I'm able to continue that today. And in a few years, I'll have that completely paid off. And the reason I've not built a regular house is because I can't afford it. A house, go up to $100,000. I couldn't even get a loan for the cheapest trailer. I forget it's a little lot of trailers down there. I forget the name of it. But anyway, you go down there and you can see all the models and pick one and have it brought to your land or whatever. But they wouldn't even sell me the cheapest that they had for like $4,000, $5,000. I could not get accepted for any loan simply off the amount of child support and spousal support that I pay. I'm still going through that fight to get that lowered to this day. A whole year later, I'm still in that fight to get that lowered because I'm back in Tennessee. Nobody's living in California. So that's where we're at. So anyway, I was able to afford to build this small cabin, 12 by 24, build it myself. There's no bathroom in here. There's no running water. We have a little bit of electricity that's ran off the part of the old house. And I've built a bathhouse out there to shower in. We got the toilet out there. Currently still building that. You'll see the videos there. So anyway, that's kind of the update. So moving forward, what's in store? Well, finishing this cabin. Hoping to have it done by the end of this year, as well with the bathhouse. For me to get my kids overnight regularly every other weekend, this cabin has to be finished. The judge said I have to have a way to heat it up in the wintertime, cool it in the summertime to keep it between like 60 and I think he said 80 degrees. I don't know, it's lower than 80. 80 is kind of hot for me. But he said the wood stove's not going to be enough, so I did not want to have electricity. Jason did not want to have electricity on his in this cabin on the hillside. I wanted to be, you know, completely rustic, but it's just not going to help me get the kids regularly overnight and everything like that. So that was one of the things. I got to get the cabin inside finished. It has to be able to be heated and cooled pretty easily, and it has to be able to be maintained. Every kid has to have their own bed. So I have my queen size bed in here. I've got one set of bunk beds so far, and I've got to get another set of bunk beds. So I think I might just build the bunk beds that I need to kind of help fit in this space. It's a small space. I'll tell you what, it's very doable. So, you know, this whole American dream, I'm really against, to be completely honest. You know, we have this American dream. We think that every kid has to have their own room. Every kid has to have their own TV now, and even a PlayStation, and, you know, so many people live outside of their means. And this might be you. Actually, one of y'all that's watching this, and again, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but if you struggle from paycheck to paycheck, you might want to consider what you're doing. Okay, I don't even live paycheck to paycheck anymore with, you know, all the child support that I have to pay, my responsibilities here. I don't have a new vehicle. The vehicles that we drive are very old, and they're kind of A to B vehicles, and nothing luxurious or anything like that. I said I go to the bathroom in a 5-gallon bucket and cover it with sawdust because it's cheaper and it's better for the environment. I can reuse it. So, yeah, it's affordable, guys. I have no desire to build a larger house. I would like a hand-hewn log home, like what you'd find in Cades Cove or all over the East, Midwest. Those old cabins that were built back in the 1800s, 1700s, still standing today. Simply amazing. I would like to live in something like that. Might be a little bit bigger than this. But if that never happens, I really don't care. Once the kids are gone, this space is going to get much bigger. I don't really plan on building onto it, but, you know, when you don't have, 4 kids staying in here, it does give you a lot more room. And one thing that me and Anna would like to do is make the kids their own cabin. So that's something that's probably going to be in the works. I'm going to expand. I want to get Kiko goats for meat. I want to expand my quail endeavors, I guess, adventures. I want to hatch quail. I want to eat quail. I want to be able to sell quail and quail eggs. I want to move the chicken coop on down the property a little bit and kind of expand it, get more birds, get turkeys, and I want to fence in the property. Mainly that front lot down there, the main 1.5 acre or whatever for the goats. Something nicer for the pigs. I want a nicer coop for the quails. Something where you can go in and sit down and just, relax with them, kind of thing. I think that's kind of cool. Even though I do plan on harvesting them and farming them, it doesn't mean you can't enjoy them and take care of them, in the meantime. And expand on my rabbits a little bit too. Actually, over this weekend, I plan on harvesting quite a few rabbits. It'll save us on some rabbit food. We seem to be going through food left and right. The food we have to give the animals and the food that we're eating ourselves. And I'm back in the gym. I'm going to get healthy again, put on some weight since I came back eating too many Hardee's meals and Taco Bell. I love those places. But anyway, that's kind of the overview. Hopefully I'll be able to throw a few pictures in here and there and kind of show you of, where I started at and kind of where I'm at now. But anyway, if you guys have been watching, thank you so much. I'm grateful for every one of my subscribers. I can't tell you how much grateful I am. And I never really thought that this channel, even as small as it is, I never really thought it would take off. I had hopes and determination. I wanted to work hard for it, and I'm not yet big enough to even be monetized to make pennies. But the fact that you guys are watching, you're commenting, you're liking, it means a lot to me. It really does. Thank you so much for that. Don't be afraid to comment. Just anything, just simple hello, like the video. That's really encouraging. If you got questions, I want to help you find the answers, even if I don't know them. And I love sharing this life with you. So if you got any questions, even in general, general questions about my life, me and Anna are getting married. That's something else I didn't mention earlier. We're hoping to get married next weekend, and hope to record that and share that with you, at least a little bit of it. So I'm very excited about that. A lot of good things in the works. Living that life I don't really need a vacation from after, all that hard stuff. The one thing I didn't mention too, and I think this is probably the biggest of all, where I've come emotionally. It's really hard not being with the kids, and I was overseas and in San Diego without the kids for about 3 years. Um, Man, that was tough. You talking about going through depression? I went through some depression. Yeah, went through moments where I didn't necessarily want to be on the earth anymore. It was hard, but the one thing that kept me going was I'm the financial provider for my family. If they don't have me, how are my kids going to be taken care of? Even though they don't get to see me, I still get to take care of them. And I held on to the hope that I was coming back to Tennessee. Now, to be honest, I never thought I'd really make it back here. There's always this thought in my mind that I was going to die, maybe of stress or heartache, heartbreak or something. It just seemed like it was never going to come to pass. I was never going to be here. And I love my hometown. Sometimes I drive around town or drive out in the country to places that I hunt and fish. I'm like, wow, I am finally here. I've traveled all over the world, and this is my favorite place. This is my hometown, Cleveland, Tennessee. The town, the mountains, the surrounding areas, Southeast Tennessee, absolutely love it. Most of the people here are very friendly. Of course, you got people everywhere that want to pick a fight or, aren't pleasant, things like that. But I held on to that hope. And I held on to the hope that's in Jesus Christ. And for one, if I were to harm myself, that would have been a sin against Him. To take the very thing that God gives you, the life, to do something with, to worship Him with, to spread His gospel with, to take that on your own. It's really offensive to God, and I did not want to hurt Him or sin against Him in that way. I've done enough sinning in my life to where I really didn't need that on my account either. With the hope of, the Lord, the hope of seeing the kids, the hope of returning home, that kept me going. And so here I am. And I want to share that with you. I don't want to get into that too much because I like being happy. The Jason Falls that you see on Falls Hillside Home on this YouTube channel, that's who I really want to be. And that's the person that I really am. But it doesn't mean that I don't have moments to where I struggle. That I struggle emotionally, I struggle financially. And financially, I've been, a lot better. I'm not really strong. I don't live paycheck to paycheck anymore. I'm not rich by any means. I'm going to say I'm sitting really comfortable, but I don't need all the bigger things anymore. I don't need all the clothes. I don't need all the fancy stuff. I don't need to go out to fancy restaurants. I don't even go to the theater much. If I want to watch a movie, I just wait till it comes out on Redbox or, something like that. I love just the simple life of being here, being with my animals, being in nature. Love it. Reading the Word. Love it. Being content with very little. I don't think I really have very little anymore. I have, a little over 6 acres. I wish I had more land, but there was a time in my life where I never thought I'd have, what I have now. So I'm very grateful for it. And I'll tell you what, I think about how great God is in this life that He's given me, this life that He's allowed me to have. He's blessed me with wonderful children, wonderful place to live. I'm really looking forward to going into the new year, rest of 2022. Now, there's a lot to be concerned with. There is. So much where I think the return of Christ could be any time. I really do. I don't really like to get into my political views on this channel or anything. I just want to share with you the love of God. But our nation is in bad shape. Our world's in bad shape. I believe we're under God's judgment. I really do. Read out through the Bible, anytime that God has given His people rulers that were unkind, it's because we fell under God's judgment, including the people of Israel, including us today. I believe that. I believe that. And it's not all the rulers' faults either. I'm not blaming anything on this current administration, because I believe if we were obedient to God, we wouldn't be in the position that we were in. And I'm talking to Christians too, okay? Actual believers who are going to heaven after this life. We've got to get this right too. We need to live holy, righteous lives. But I'm excited about this new year, man. I really am. I'm excited to get this cabin done. I'm excited about the hunting and fishing adventure, spending time with my kids, spending time with Anna, just being up here. I enjoy life. I enjoy about hearing more of God's word and becoming closer to Him. Just excited about it. And I hope that enthusiasm rubs off on each and every one of you. You might not have a piece of the hillside. You might not have your own land like I got. And maybe you watch my channel just because you get to, somewhat live vicariously through me, I guess, or whatever. But you have something. You have a life. God's given you the opportunity to do something with that. Be thankful for what you have. I would, God wants you to bloom right there where you're at. And maybe you are going to move. Maybe you're going to move somewhere else or get a different land or just maybe a different small apartment or something somewhere. But find the blessings in those little things, okay? Realize that no matter how little you have, you're still blessed. You still have a wonderful opportunity. If you're a child of God, this life is so much better. It doesn't mean you're not ever going to experience heartache or anything like that, but I'm very content, very satisfied with life. I'm happy with the progress that I've made on the hillside. So looking forward to going into 2022. Hey guys, again, I love you. Appreciate every one of you. If you got any questions for me, leave them below. If you want to see something more, please leave that in the comments below. You want to see more animals, you still want to see more building products or more fishing, more hunting, things like that, just let me know in the comments. I'm going to do my very best to provide y'all with the content that you want, at the same time staying true to myself and who I am and what I'm trying to do up here. Love you guys. See you on the next video. God bless.